What's going on, folks? Thanks for joining me on another video. So today we're going to be doing a re-review of the Browning Wicked Wings A5. So I bought this gun last year and actually did a review video. I had it for the early dove season. Well, it's not early, just had it for the dove season, and yeah, went ahead and made the review. So I've been a Browning A5 fan for a long time. Have the old one, used it a ton. And so I was super pumped when I got this one. So had it out dove season and really liked it. So that hasn't changed. So really like the gun after using it. I used it for a full season. Went out maybe 35 times for duck. Went out for dove a few times. Went out clay pigeon shooting multiple times. So probably all in all, I'm somewhere right around just under 50 times using this gun for hunting, clay pigeons, all of the above. So really do have a good take on this gun after using it and really put it through the ringer. So yeah, I'm going to kind of share what I learned with you guys, especially if you're looking to purchase one of these guns. Kind of going over some of the basic features. It is the Browning A5 Wicked Wings 12 gauge. I got the 30-inch barrel. It comes with 3 chokes, full, improved, modified, and modified for steel shot, which I'm sure most of you waterfowlers will be shooting at, or anybody hunting on state property. And I guess I should correct myself on the full. It's full for lead, and it doesn't have a rating for steel. But I have patterned it with steel, and it did all right. It held the pattern. It didn't blow it out, which was a concern with it being so tight. But yeah, so that's the chokes on that. So yeah, it's got the oversized button right here. The Cerakote coating on there, and the marsh grass Max 5 camo pattern. So overall, I love Browning A5s, and so I was super stoked to get this last year. So yeah, positives of it. It is a great gun. I did really well with it once I got kind of used to it. Partway through the season, I had really good shooting. And honestly, if I had to do it again, I'd definitely buy this gun. So that being said, you know, the positives of it is a good fit. It's a great gun when waterfowl hunting. But that being said, I definitely did have some negatives that I kind of found out through the season. So like I said previously, I did have it for dove season last year, and I did try running some dove loads through it, and I never got the light dove loads. Now this is Super X Winchester Super X 2 3/4 with 6-shot, and you can see on there it's really small load, and it would jam on this pretty regularly. Sometimes I got through all 3 shots, and it was 50-50 or less for whether it cycled those. And I saw in the comments of my last video that some people said that sometimes you just got to get enough through it, and for me, honestly, it never happened. So that being said, another issue I'd had was the speed load option. I have the old A5, and I mean it's not super old, but like I think it's from the 70s, around 1970, and the speed load option on that one, I don't know why I call it speed load option. The speed load on that worked phenomenal. So I'm like, you know, get the new one. You expect the same thing. It's going to be awesome. We've had 40 years of innovation, 40 plus years. So anyways, safety's on, but I'll show you kind of the issue I have with the speed load on this. So put it in there. Well, that's not going to work. So gotta open the gun first. So anyways, that the problem I was having with it is it just wouldn't load. So, and you expect this, if you're familiar with the speed option, it should just go and load right into the chamber. But it's really finicky, and eventually you can get it. But what's the point of a speed load option if it's not going to be every time? So I think from what I discovered is that if you have your finger against this, then it's not going to do it. So it's kind of like a safety feature so your thumb doesn't get jammed. If your finger is just even slightly hitting this, and there's just no way for me to do it. I don't know if I have like massive thumbs or something like that, but I don't really think my thumbs are that abnormal in shape or size. So honestly disappointed with how that functions. Is pretty bad. So I actually have notes right here so I wouldn't forget anything. But did have issues with the freezing up, and it was because the gun got wet. At one point, Chief knocked my gun off the bench of the duck blind into standing water. So, didn't stay there long, but for the rest of the season, anytime it got super cold, I had issues with it freezing up. And, I tried to clean it well, thought I got all the moisture out of it, but it just would freeze up. So I know that probably happens with a lot of guns, but just kind of wanted to bring that up as one of the issues I had. Let's see. So another thing, I'll kind of show up close up with this, but the coating on this, I was hard on this gun. I did hunt a ton. I think I hunted 35 times in duck season. I went to the range multiple times, another maybe 5-6 times for shooting clays. I did dove hunting. So we're talking close to 50 times out with this gun in the last year. And the coating, honestly, is not standing up to the standard I thought it would. I got chips right here. This is kind of the first time they did this type of coating on Browning A5 that I'm aware of, and honestly, it a lot of nicks. And I was hard on it, like I said, I hunted a lot, been out with it a lot, but it nicked up a lot, and kind of more than I would expect. So along with that, I did have some rust spots in the ribbing, and it's just like the same thing with the coating. The coating isn't covering everything as well as I would have thought. Some in the ribbing, so. Yeah, it's a hard area to keep dry, but I did kind of compare it to my Browning A5 that is from the 1970s, and it has no rust in the ribs. And so I was kind of curious why that would happen on this one, because that one's been through way more. It's been in my care as well. It's been me that was cleaning that one as well, and I did not have rust issues in the ribs or around where the ribbing meets. It's almost like the coating is not under, or it's not under the material where it meets. So that is concerning for the longevity, because rust is the biggest enemy of a gun, and I've got rust spots on this gun, and I guess I'd blame that on the coating. Maybe I could have cleaned it better, but I did clean it quite often. One thing that the Benelli Black Eagle 2 was famous for was the Benelli click. So to my dismay, I had issues very similar to that. So kind of show this close up, but right here it's not completely engaged, and so what happens when it gets like this is you pull the trigger and nothing happens, because the pin goes to hit the back end of the shell and it can't, because there's a gap here. So I went ahead and called Browning and told them about this, and they kind of made it sound like it was unique to my gun, that not a lot of Browning A5s have this issue or none. So I'd be curious to hear what other people said. And I told them this like a month after I had it last year, that I was having that issue. And they wanted me to send it to them. They said I could send it to them and I'd get it back in like 8 months to a year. And I'm like, I got this gun to hunt with this year. So the way that I avoid that is I just make sure I shut it. And the way I found out about it having those issues, we had ducks land into our set before shooting light. I wasn't loaded up, so I tried to slowly kind of let it come in. And when you just slowly do that, it doesn't close all the way. It should just kind of, fully engage, and then you won't have that click. So that honestly is somewhat of a concern. If it's just to my gun, then it's factory default, and that stinks. But I don't know. I'd love to hear if anybody else with a Browning A5 has a similar issue to this. I'd be really interested to know that. So that's all the cons I had. Like I said, guys, I was being harsh on them. It is a premier gun. It is the best of the best. So I don't know what to say about that. I still love the gun, but I don't love those issues. Still love the gun, and I think that it could be a little better. So if I had to rate this gun out of 10, it's 8 out of 10. It's still a great gun, but it does have some issues, and I'd expect a Browning A5 to have 0 issues, 0 things that you can complain about. My old one, literally 10 out of 10. So anyways, like I said, I don't want to be too harsh on them. I love Browning A5s, and I would buy this gun again, but hopefully Browning can sort through some of these little issues to make their next gun a 10 out of 10. Anyways, guys, thanks again for watching this video. I appreciate it. Be sure to stay tuned for hunting season. We're going to have hunt videos coming out all the time, every time we go hunting. So that's all I got for you guys. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Let's go.